Hi and welcome to a new tutorial. On this particular one, I want to really focus on one of the most, I think is one of the most interesting devices in the entire Ableton Live range of effects, and this is the Spectral Resonator. And I really want to talk about the Spectral Resonator because I feel that is underused and the capabilities of these things are insane, simply because it's got unison. And you can potentially add unison to any sound that you can think of, including drums, including kicks, including snares, anything. Okay, and it's absolutely insanely powerful. So I'm going to crack on. This is a quick example. So this is the beat at the moment. So one thing that you might notice as well, the kick. Listen to the kick. So the Spectral Resonator is actually enhancing the kick drum. I don't know if you noticed, but listen. So he's actually giving us this kind of like wide kick that could be really, really cool. If we listen to the beat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the chain I created, which is quite a complex chain here. I'm going to turn it on so you can hear the effect. So this bass layer that you're hearing is actually the Spectral Resonator. If I turn it off, that's what you hear, right? But with the Spectral Resonator, so if you like this, what you're hearing, of course, you know, just reminding you all that I teach music production with Ableton Live. So if you want to learn more, feel free to have a look in the description below. All the details are there. So let me show you another example like this bass here. So I'm just going to turn this one off. And this other bass I actually made it using Operator, and I'm using the Spectral Resonator to give the Operator a little bit of flavor. Let me just play you what it sounds like at the moment. If we listen to what the Spectral Resonator is going to do to the bass. For those of you that don't know about the Spectral Resonator, so the Spectral Resonator, what it does, this is noise, it's flat, it's got a filter. Let me just turn off. Right, so it's white noise is flat across the entire spectrum. The Spectral Resonator, it divides the audio into frequency bands, starting from the frequency that we set here. Look, this is 110 Hertz. That's bang on 110 Hertz. And all these frequencies, they follow the harmonic series. So it's the initial frequency. So times 2, times 3, times 4. That's how you get the frequencies, right? It follows what's known as the harmonic series without going into too much detail. Potentially, I could make this lower, and you can hear. So now you can see that the lowest frequency is 22 Hertz, which is a bit too low. There you go. So that's around 53 Hertz, right? You can see that. We can also tune it to a specific key. So I can go to maybe like F0 there, right? We can also decide how many of these peaks are created, right? So how many harmonics are generated, how many of them. So at the moment it's 256, but we can make them less. So we already left with those harmonics there, right? Right, and you get this kind of like crazy laser sound, right? We can also quantize the harmonics based on the scale. So that's playing on F major. It sounds a bit funny, doesn't it? Or E major. Sounds a bit strange. Let me just take those upper harmonics down. So it's basically taking those harmonics and actually forcing them to be in key with a particular scale. But you can see that what we can also do is we can extend the decay. So even if I let go, you can still hear decay in a way, right? Turn it off completely. We can damp the high harmonics with the high damp. I'm just going to turn on the decay, and you're going to see that the low harmonics are going to remain open, while the high harmonics are going to decay much faster. I'm going to let go. Right, there you go. You can see like the lower harmonics are still there, right? Let me do a little bit less. So it sounds a bit more like physical modeling sounds like. And then the same thing for the low dump as well. Basically means that the low harmonics will die out faster than the upper harmonics. Right, so I'm pressing play, letting go. What we can also do is we can take those harmonics and put them closer together, which is what the stretch is about. So you can see that we are making them all around the fundamental, right? So you can stretch them closer together, right? You get this kind of like weird and farther apart. So you get this, let me just stand off. You get this interesting kind of tonalities coming through. And then the shift is a little bit like a filter. Listen to it. So it kind of like takes those harmonics into more consideration, or the lower harmonics. You see what I mean? So now that we understand these basics, of course, we can add unison, right? So we can actually add up to 8 copies of this synth, of this. It's not really a synth per se, but it's kind of like a synth in a sense, because you can play with it, you can play with it with the keyboards, and you can even add up to 8 voices unison. You can detune them so it becomes more noisy. Right, that's like crazy detuning. And you can hear more of the noise now, right? So let me just show you what we can do. I'm going to take the entire beat and I'm going to group it. Right, so I'm going to go and solo the beat. Right, let's put the Spectral Resonator and see what we can do with the Spectral Resonator on the beat. All right. That's 100% wet, okay? So for example, let's just focus on potentially adding like a low end bass to this. So I'm gonna go and lower the frequency. That already sounds cool. Obviously the decay is quite long, but what we can do is we can say, okay, I want to damp the upper harmonic so it sounds more kind of like warmer. Nice. But look what happens if I already got this MIDI pattern here. So I'm going to tell the Spectral Resonator to react to the transposition that is caused by this MIDI pattern right there, right? So listen to what this is going to do to the resonator. So all I have to do is go over to channel 6, which is there, select it there, and make sure that I select post effects, not post mixer, because if it's soloed, we're not going to hear it, okay? Let's dump it even more, right? Let's dump the upper harmonics even further. Let's add unison voices. I'm gonna add 4 voices. Actually, I don't know, I quite like 2 voices. And then I'm gonna blend it in. There you go. Wicked, right? So we are actually creating a bass sound. My suggestion when you use this, if you're going to use this technique, is to group it, then create an empty chain, put the resonator 100% wet, so you actually can hear it. And my suggestion also would be like, maybe put a gate, you know, so the resonator only reacts to maybe like the kicks or something. For example, that's cool. That's reacting to the snare, but potentially I can say, no, I want you to only react to the kick. So let's find the kick and let's use a band pass and sort of fine tune it to the low end. See if that works. Shorten the decay if it's too long. There you go, listen. That's just if you apply it to a drum beat, but let me just take that away And I like this, you know, I could like literally save this because I really like what I've done here, save it for later. And this is the power as well when you do parallel processing. So you hear your drums passing through here, but you also can hear the Spectral Resonator on its own, and you can even apply EQ, right? So don't forget about that. I can add an EQ here, or even a filter after the Spectral Resonator. Right, and I can be here and I can be like, no, I want more of that. Wicked, look, I can filter it more. That's how good it is. For example, look what happens if I have a bass. I'm just going to do that with this bass. I'm just going to do like a very simple. Just grabbing the Spectral Resonator, and I'm going to just drag it and drop it after the bass, okay? So let's hear it. Right, so I want this to track the pitch. So this is the key, okay? I wanted to track pitch. I wanted to track the pitch that I added for this bass, right? So let's select it, bass modern mono. That's cool because I only just need one voice. Let's just solo this up. I really want you guys to hear it. And look at the spectrum analyzer. This is one thing I always suggest you guys to do. Right, this is if I take the pitch glide, maybe let's just make it a little bit lower because obviously the Spectral Resonator doesn't react to the pitch bend, right? Which is a bit annoying. But let me just quickly do like what happens if I were to just literally take those notes, just make them a little bit lower. Let's add unison, right? Because this is where the magic starts. Can you hear that energy that's adding to the bass? Let's make it so that it decays really fast. There you go. Let's play with the stretch, see what happens if I add some kind of like inharmonic energy. Nice. So you can hear this kind of beating. Can you hear that? Really cool. Oh, back to what it was, right? Let's use the shift as well. Wicked. Listen to all those harmonics. And then potentially I can do like a dampening of the highs. Maybe too much, just bring it down. There you go. We come from that to that, right? Let's have a listen to it in context. There you go, guys. So hopefully you realize and see the potential of the Spectral Resonator. Again, in all fairness, I probably would need another hour video just to show you all the capabilities of it. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you haven't done so yet. And obviously, any comments are more than welcome. If you got any questions, if you want me to teach you, or if you're interested on my preset packs based on some of the sounds you hear here, or even I even got my own sound design module as well in regards to the basics of sound design. So if you're interested on that, have a look at the description. So again, thank you so much for watching, and on to the next one. All right, take it easy, guys. See you soon.